Now then, our special guest this morning, it's Simon Weston, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, sir. Now then, Simon, who served with the Welsh Guards, was, of course, injured during the Falklands War in 1982 when the ship he was travelling on, the Sir Galahad, was bombed by Argentinian fighter planes. What you may have forgotten is 48 men died in the attack, 32 of them Welsh Guards, indeed 30 of them? Of your platoon of 30, 22, was it?
Yeah, 22 of the boys died, yeah. Pretty rough.
Since leaving the army, Simon, of course, has worked tirelessly for charity and has made something of a name for himself as a children's author as well. His first book, A Nod from Nelson, about a cart horse who comes out of retirement, was incredibly popular. And now he's penned a second, Nelson to the Rescue. It's just come out. What's it? It's about nosy Parkers.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
It's just about people putting their nose in where it doesn't belong. And the consequence... and how many of us are sick and tired of that? But yeah, and it's just the consequences and the daft consequences and, you know, what happens from the whole tale, you know. It's what happens to Nelson and the rats and where they go and what scrapes they get themselves into.
What inspired you to create Nelson in the first place?
Well, there's a real live milkman called, back home, my old milkman called Mike the Milk, and when he found out he'd been immortalised in the first book, he said, I've had 100 and odd phone calls. He said, you could have bleeding warned me, or words to that effect. And I thought, you miserable old goat. And then he said, where's my free copy?
I knew there was going to be something money or free.
Well, he's a milkman, you mean, and... but we just thought we'd write about a happy milkman. But Mike used to tell us funny stories, and one about when he went to this house and he was taking the money off this woman and the dog walked in and cocked its leg on the couch. And he took the money and he's filling in the ledger and everything. He put it back in the satchel. He was about to leave and a woman said, Mike, you've forgotten your dog. He said, it's not my dog.
Now, what sort of age range do you aim your books for? Because there's a fair few words in it, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, you can read to a child from any age, but, you know, it's mainly for children who can read a bit and your parents read with you. That's the whole point of it. And the humour in it's meant to engage with adults as well, so that they want to read with the children, so they get used to using inflection, because it's written in the Welsh way and everything sings, you know, the St Mary Dairy and Pontycary. You can't say that without using inflection, can you? So it's meant to do that, you know.
Now, your own kids, I mean, they're growing up fast now, so I suppose this is beneath them now, is it?
Well, the 12-year-old still enjoys it, you know, but there's lots of children enjoy it, and in fact, adults have read it and enjoyed them. So, you know, it's just a bit of fun, but it's meant to get children reading, which is one of the best things you can do with kids. Absolutely. Because it's using your imagination. You can go anywhere in the world and you can do anything. You can be the daring do, you can be the greatest, you can be the worst, you can be anything you want, but there's no harm done, you know, and that's the whole point of reading. It's escapism.
Yeah, but you're really good at telling stories, aren't you? Because, I mean, you've been doing a one-man show. How did that go?
It's gone really well, you know. We're not playing to sell out audiences, but then again, I suppose I'm not renowned for doing this sort of thing, so it's been a lot of fun, you know. We've got about 250 people.
And what sort of stuff do you do? Everything, I suppose.
Well, it's anecdotal stuff. I mean, I don't tell gags because I mean the comedians are good at that sort of thing, you know. So there's no point in telling gags. Pardon?
Song and dance?
Oh, yeah, I'm really built for that.
I'm singing the Welsh voice.
Dancing, a friend of mine said he did something for children in need. He was taking his wife across the room to dance. He said it's like trying to move a MFI wardrobe across a carpet.
Actually, if you try that, they fall apart, don't they? That's one of the
I got the same feeling. I'd look exactly the same, you know, but no song and dance from me. No, it's just us telling anecdotal stories. A lot of it's funny because, you know, nothing's funnier than real life. And certainly about being in the military, I mean, whatever, you know, the sadness and the tragedy of service can be, you know, and I'm living testament to that. But, I mean, you read every day about what goes on. But, you know, there's an awful lot of funny things that go on. And just out of the sheer stupidity of soldiers, there's some of the things that just happen. You know, and you just have to laugh. And it's the funniest place you'll ever be in your life is in the military. Because the people you live in.
Do you miss it? Do you miss it? I mean,
you know, everything nostalgic, and you've got this great thing about looking back at it all, and you're always better than you were. When you sit down with your mates on Remembrance Sunday, and you sit down, you're having a couple of beers, and we were always tougher and faster and harder and rougher and better at these things. So we all lie to each other brilliantly, but I do miss it. Yeah, I miss that camaraderie, and I think anybody that works closely with a team of people and your life depends on them and theirs on you, I think you'll always miss it. You talk to miners.
It's a special bond, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you were saying miners talk like that as well, don't they? It's where your life depends on somebody else and the teamwork.
Anybody that lives in a sort of confine, a tight confine of anything, firemen, police officers,
Yeah.
you know, any teams, lifeboatmen, they all talk about sort of what they do in the same way. It's because your lives are at risk,
And you depend on each other.
Yeah,
Ultimately,
and you're grateful to be there to be able to talk about anything, to be honest with you. So it's, you know, it is something you miss, but I don't miss the job, and certainly not the job they've got at hand at the moment.
Well, we're going to talk more about that a bit later. Sorry, Scott.
I'm going to change the subject. I want you to talk about your interesting personalised number plate.
What?
Eh?
Haven't you got on your car a personalised number plate to your wedding anniversary?
Oh, God, yeah, well... That was on my the one I gave to my father-in-law. I gave the number plate to him in the end. But yeah, I got number 12 put on the number plate purely and simply because I couldn't remember when I got married.
That's a good thing.
Forget the fact that I went to war on the 12th of May. But yeah, I couldn't remember the day that I got married. So how did you find that?
I just know stuff, Simon. I just know.
He's good, isn't he? Listen, great to have you here, as per usual, Simon. And it's a special show as well this morning. It's going to be a little different from usual. We're still going to kick off with the top story from today's papers. That's The Sun, outraged by Kate Moss, who told her fashion website, "Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels." Now, the phrase has certainly been used by a diet firm in the 80s, but it seems to have since been adopted as a motto by pro-anorexia websites. Pro-anorexia websites? Does the panel share the paper's view that Kate Moss is encouraging eating disorders? After that, we're going to have Simon and the rest of today's headlines. Then we're going to move on to a specially extended phone-in. Regular viewers will know that I've been reluctant to question the wisdom of our involvement in Afghanistan when we've got 9,000 of our brave soldiers out there fighting. But it does seem your mood, the public's mood, is changing. So this morning we're going to throw it in the phone lines and hear it straight from you. The question is whether we should pull out or persevere. There's plenty of other questions as well. What are we fighting for? When will we know if we've won or not? Do we need to send more troops, properly equipped troops, that is, to ensure victory? We're going to give this plenty of time. And we're also going to hear from this man, Alan Hicks, whose son, Captain David Hicks, was killed in Helmand 2 years ago. Captain Hicks died a hero, refusing morphine after being injured in a rocket attack so he could try and continue to lead his men. I want to know what Alan thinks of the situation in Afghanistan and Gordon Brown's hopes of a gradual withdrawal of troops starting next year. As I said, lots of time for your calls, so get dialing. And then, just to wrap up this morning's show with a laugh, some nonsense, some tittle-tattle for you with the emphasis on tittle. Was Kimmy Woodburn right when she laid into Jordan in the jungle last night? She accused the model of loving all the attention, playing it for all it's worth. Go on, admit it, she said, grow up. Was the celebrity cleaner out of order? I mean, is Katie Price any different from any of the other fame junkies in the show? Think about it. Play fair. Give us a call. Here's Kirsty with the numbers.
Thank you, Matthew, and a very good morning. If you'd like to contact the show this morning, the number, as usual, is 0207 173 5555. Calls are going to cost a maximum of 10 pence a minute, and that's based on a BT landline call, so your mobile phone charges and other networks may vary. You can also email us, writestuff@5.tv, and if you'd like to send us a text, the number is 80088. Text will cost 25 pence plus your standard network charge. Not all messages will be shown on screen, and always remember to put TWS before your comments. And of course, you can keep your tweets coming in. Twitter.com/5writestuff.
The woman with 1,000 different hairstyles. That can't all be real, can it? It wasn't there yesterday.
It is on my hair.
That's all
it's
your own?
grown, but when it's straight, it looks longer.
I'll come over and give it a tug later if you like. Now, after the ads, is The Sun right to be outraged by Kate Moss's claim that nothing tastes as good as skinny feels? True, those words have been used as a motto by twisted pro-anorexia websites, but they've also been used as a slogan by a diet firm in the 80s. So is Kate Moss talking up anorexia? We'll find out on the other side of these ads.
What proportion of women aged 15 to 30 suffer from anorexia? 1 in 1,000, 1 in 100, or 1 in 10? Find out after the break.